I get it. People tell you all the time in marketing that you need to be prepared to talk to your ideal client. Make sure that you are speaking their language. Make sure that you are honing in on the problems. But what does that actually mean? I know you probably could have told me that. You probably could have told me that you know who your ideal client is. You've gone through the steps to figure out this process of who you want to work with and who you're going to be able to help the best and the most. But are you taking the time to really know that you are speaking to them directly? You may have thought that it sounds easy to talk to your potential client because you have something they want, right? You know how to solve one of their problems. But are you actually speaking your potential client's love language? Are you actually saying things that resonate with them and don't just hit a brick wall thinking it's just another tactic that they have to try to learn or focus on that takes them away from what they want to be doing in their business? When you get on the phone with that potential client, do you have statements that you are ready to say without a shadow of a doubt if they ask you a question or they want to know exactly what you're working on or how you can help them, that you are totally confident spitting out and having it make sense and having it be something where their ears are actually listening to you, right? So that they want to pay you before you even hang up on that phone call. So I'm Laura Reich of laurareich.com, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I want you to take a second to tell me, who is your ideal client? I want to walk through some statements and steps and some of the tips that you need to make sure you are 100% confidently knowing for your business so that you can speak your client's love language and make them feel as though you are talking directly to them and nobody else. So, for those of you who are here with me live, go ahead and tell me who your ideal client is. Who is whether you've worked with them, you haven't worked with them, you want to work with them, whatever it is, tell me, who is your ideal client? Why do you want to work with them, right? So this is something that I've done with my coach and other coaches that I've worked with in the past, where you actually make a list of your ideal clients, right? I actually went to a conference not that long ago. I think it's been about a year ago now, and they talked about your ideal 100. So I don't know if any of you have heard of what the ideal 100 is before, but this specific individual has a program and wrote a book about it, and it talks about how you need to know exactly who you want to be working with. And so you write this list of 100 people that you know you could help, who is your ideal fit client, right? So one of my ideal clients that I wrote down on here I think would be a dream to work with, because I know I would be able to help them, is ManyChat. I think that they have an amazing platform for people. You guys see me use it throughout my business. A lot of you are actually here with me because of ManyChat and the processes that I've set up on there, but they are on my list. And so when I think about what I want to say in my content and how I want to speak to them, that is the person that I have in my mind. Now, I have other people on my list that we won't need to go into my top 100 list, but I would love for you guys to tell me, who is someone that you know without a shadow of a doubt you want to work with them and why you want to work with them, right? And so here is the first secret or tip that I want to get you guys moving forward on how to be able to talk their love language, right? Your first thing that you have to do is identify your ideal client. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt who that person is. And I want you not to just create an avatar. I want you to physically pick an individual. They need to be a real, live, breathing person that you know characteristics about and information about, where you can go through a structure of creating a list so that you can pick out who other potential clients might be, right? So take a moment and think about a client that you've worked with in the past, or that maybe somebody that you've collaborated with. You didn't necessarily need to work with them, but somebody that you know of physically, that you were really happy to see them or talk to them every time a meeting came up. They always were able to implement or do what you had said. You were able to help them. Like, it was the cream of the crop, most ideal situation when we were working with clients, right? So you were 100% invested in their progress. They were 100% invested in working with you or your products, whatever it is. And so I want you to take out a piece of paper and identify this person. I want you to physically write their name down, okay? I want you to also, if they were a previous client, write down what it is they did with you. So was it a service that you provided? Was it a product that they purchased? And make it very clear. So don't just say, I offered them a service and they worked with me. Say, like, I offered Pinterest management and ads, and the dollar amount was X, and we had 2 meetings a month, and like, make sure it's very specific, right? And I want you to do that on the front side of this paper. Did you get your piece of paper? Because this is really going to help you guys. I really want you to, even if you're not commenting here or engaging on the live stream, that's totally fine, but I really want you to do this activity with me, right? So underneath that now, because you've worked with this person before, or because you know characteristics about this person, I want you to write down all of the problems that they struggled with. So yeah, Shannon's got her paper. So if they were someone you worked with on a services-based business, right? I want you to write down the problems that they had before they were working with you. So in terms of Pinterest management, we'll go back to that for right now. And those who are here with me, go ahead and let me know your ideal client and some of the problems, and we can start working through this together as well, right? So the person that I was working with and the person that I have in my head, many of you know, so we're not going to out that person here. I still work with this person on a consistent basis. And they truly have the personality and the business and everything that makes them my ideal client, right? And so this person was struggling with visibility to the right type of people. They had different people following them and they wanted to shift, right? And they had issues with how to present all this amazing content that they already had to be seen consistently, right? So it didn't matter if someone was coming today or if they were coming 3 years from now, as long as the value was there, this client wanted them to see that. But it was getting stifled. They weren't able to bring the eyeballs to that piece of content. So they felt like they had to keep cycling and creating more. They are not a graphic designer, right? And so that's another problem that they are having in terms of the services that I would be able to help them with, right? And so those are just 3 of the problems, but I want you to write out a list of every single problem that you could think of that they struggled with. whether it was something personally, whether it was physically. So if you have products, maybe they have a product that helps them feel more confident because they're putting on makeup, right? Or maybe it's a product that helps aches and pains, things like that. Awesome. Way to hang out with us today, James. I'm glad you've got your paper. So make sure that even if it's a product or a service, this will still work for you, right? And so you write down every single thing that you can think of, whether you can solve it or not, right? I want you to think of all of the problems that they have, okay? So now you have the name of the ideal person. You have problems and struggles that they're going through right now. And then I want you to flip your piece of paper over. And on the back side, I want you to write down all of the solutions that if they were a client, you offered them. If they are a potential client because you know characteristics about them that you can offer to them confidently. Not just things that you can offer to them because you want to have them as a client, and so you're going to make up this random service that you're going to provide to them because you know that's a problem they have. No, I want your true 100% passion put into a solution that you can offer them. I know you can't write that fast. That's totally fine. You keep writing and we'll keep going. You've got this. So make sure that your passion and your devotion are behind the solution that you want to provide to your potential client. Okay? Now, as you guys are writing those down and as you're going through that exercise, I want you to think about the things that you have done in the past, even just 3 weeks, 4 weeks in your marketing. Focus on, have you gone live on Facebook? Have you posted on social media? Did you write an email? Was there a podcast that you recorded? A blog post that you wrote? What types of marketing content did you put out just in the last 30 days? After you've figured out this for the last 30 days, you can go further back. But for today's purpose, I want you just to focus on the last 30 days. How often did you talk to this one person in that marketing content? Truly, I want you to sit and think about it. So when we talk about how you need to speak their love language, you need to know these people and what they are struggling with and how they consume content and how they listen to others, how they learn, their hobbies, their likes, their dislikes. You need to know all of that before you start putting out the marketing content, right? So if you think about what you did the last 30 days, can you 100% tell me that in everything you put out there, it spoke to this one person? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you have to create content just for one person to turn around and create more content for a new person. But when you start to find who your ideal client is, they're not the only one with that personality, those hobbies, those likes, those dislikes. So when you really focus on how you are talking to them, it will shine clearer to them, and you guys will have that attraction within your marketing, right? So pick out some words, some phrases that they listen to, that they relate to. I know in here, Shannon and I met in person, and she started listening to my live streams and started consuming my other content. And we actually were able to connect on a different level because of the way we were talking to each other. I know I talk about my faith and my Christianity, and so I have James here on the live stream today. That was one of the connections that brought us together. So when you really truly speak to those ideal people and you are authentic in what you're doing because your passion and your devotion comes throughout it, it gets way easier to come up with your marketing content, right? If you pick out a few words or phrases that can speak to their love languages. And what do I mean by love languages? So this is a big part of our family. I have read the book for the love languages for husband and wife. And then we actually went through the book on Audible with me and my 11-year-old, where we listened about children's love languages, right? And so when they're first starting out, they seek all the attention from parents, but as they start to form into their own personality, they start to feel loved and feel appreciated by different things that we say or do. And we need to take those principles and do the same thing for our clients, right? True story. Love it. So I want you guys, first off, I'm going to go in and take this and post it on my website as I do with all my trainings. So if you want to get an update when I talk more in depth about the love languages in the blog post, go ahead and follow this prompt and you will get a message from LauraBot inviting you to get the link when the blog post goes live. So, but think about these things, because love languages are a number of different ways to connect with someone, right? So you help them with something, acts of service, in the way you talk to them, words of affirmation. There are gifts, right? So there's tons of different ways to connect with people. And so you may be like, okay, Laura, that's great, but how do I do that in terms of like a client, right? Here's some examples. So, gifts. How do I do gifts with people that I don't see in person? One of the ways that I do gifts with people that I don't see in person is I have you guys be a pen pal. And I send out fun postcards or mail or things like that to help brighten up your day a little bit, where it's not just bills or advertisements, right? It's stories, it's letters, it's checking in, it's seeing how you guys are doing. And that's specific to the people who connect with me, but even more so on a different level. Let's say Shannon's love language was gifts and not acts of service. So if I said, yeah, absolutely. If I said, Shannon, I'm going to give you an hour where I implement strategies that are up here in my head and I'm going to put them together for you on your business page, she would be like, hey, that's great. But it would still not resonate with her that I am trying to speak her love language. Now, if I knew, because of the connections we made, that she likes gifts, then she's going to resonate more with my mail. Now, when you're thinking about this, you're saying, okay, that's great, but how do I know what they like in terms of love language, right? So let me know, what is your love language? Do you like words of affirmation? Do you like gifts, acts of service, quality time? What is your love language? And I'll give you a secret on how I figure out what my love language is for my clients and my potential clients. And my secret is as plain as this. I do all of them. So the pen pal thing, it's still a sweet gesture, even if it's not their love language. It's fun. I like doing it, right? Implementation. If that's something that I can help them with, we get on a strategy call and I help them work through it because that's where my passion and my devotion is. If that's not their love language, it's still helping them, right? So I'm not focusing on one thing, but these other little things that I'm doing for them are resonating with them as well. So those are things that I do to help prepare myself to work with a potential client. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure that you also have phrases that speak directly to them. Speak to the pain points that they're going through right now. So if they go back to that front side of your piece of paper where you wrote out their problems, what they're struggling with, if that struggle is something that you have overcome, tell a story about how you've overcome it. Make sure they realize that that problem is bugging them right now, but you have a solution for them. Make sure that they know you are the absolute best solution no matter what, right? And that's something that you have to know as a power of yours, as a rock star like you are, that you can help them. Whether it's helping them be confident, whether it's helping them grow clarity, whether it's helping them with their marketing, whether it's helping them with their revenue, whatever it is, whether it's a product that you have that can help them in their personal life. Things like that cause a ripple effect and a bigger impact. So make sure that you are agitating that pain, but telling them a story that you used to be there too. If it's not you, that maybe a different client used to be there and how you were able to work with them and what you guys were able to do to solve that, right? And then the last tip that I have for you guys is be prepared to talk to that ideal client, okay? You want to have statements ready and available that you have memorized, and it is something, again, that you believe wholeheartedly and you would devote your entire time and business and everything to it, so that when you do start to have these conversations one-on-one, whether it's in Messenger, whether it's on Instagram, on the phone, via Zoom, wherever it is, that they know without a doubt that that's what you focus on and that's how you can help them, right? So you want to focus on things like some of the statements that I have. You will have the strategies to gain clarity with technology. You will be able to be found before your competition with the visibility marketing that I help teach you. You can turn traffic into revenue with my help. They're just simple statements, right? So one of the main statements that I like to talk to people about, and my paragraph that I use everywhere in my marketing, and you may have seen it too, is I have heard so many stories of people just like you in the same race that I was, hitting a wall and feeling stuck, not able to highlight your awesomeness to gain visibility, leads, and sales so that you can be found first and help the people you need to with the magic that you can offer. And then I talk about how I provide simple, sustainable systems and support for busy entrepreneurs ready to rock it online without the tantrums over tech or trading sleep for success, so that you can gain back more time in your day while flooding your bank account with moolah. Now, that is a longer statement, but I do have, and my current coach actually helped me flesh that out. So this isn't something, I'm not telling you guys that you have to know these statements and know these secrets like today, right? This is going to take some work because it took me a little bit of time to work with my coach to figure out how to find what it is I actually offer, my awesome rock star powers, and how I can convey that with my words to the world, right? Who am I talking to? What should I say? And how do I say it? So these exercises that we went through in the beginning will help you start to figure that out. Okay? And I want you to experiment with these. So I had different statements throughout the years, and this one has really been the one that has stuck because the most people have resonated with this. More people have talked to me about this statement that I use and started conversations with me because of the statement that I use than any of the previous statements I used to. And so that really tells me that as I altered them throughout the years and as they morphed into what I was confident with and what I was focusing on, that they felt it, that they resonated with it, that I was speaking their love language, and we were able to connect. So please experiment with this one, right? Please take the time to tailor the conversations to the individual clients. And then here's the other thing that I have to tell you, right? Don't let this stop you from talking to someone. You're not going to get better at talking to your ideal client if you sit around with that piece of paper I told you to get out and you start trying to write things, and then you come back 2 days later and then you scratch it out and you write it again, right? So practice it. If you're someone who is unsure how to connect the dots, if you're unsure how to put all these ideas into place and make sure that you are saving time and you are raising more money and income for your business so that you can grow sustainably, you need to have those 3 pillars where you find the leads, you nurture the leads, and you close the leads, right? Go ahead and follow this prompt. It'll send you a message from Bot Laura, and get started on a conversation with real Laura here and you and me so that we can talk about my program, which is the Rockstar Revenue Rebels, and how to be able to go through those processes on different platforms with different tech to be able to make sure that your business actually is doing those needle moving activities sustainably so that you can continue to grow and share your awesomeness with the world. If you guys have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to let me know, because this is hard work. This is part of the beginning stages of a bigger strategy for your business. And so it's going to take mess ups, and it's going to take the scratch outs, and it's going to take time. But I promise you 100%, when you focus on the words coming out of your mouth and how you're connecting with potential clients, and if you're speaking their love language, it's going to pay off for you in the long run. Your ideal client will not only be attracted to you and your business, but they'll help grow your business too. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. But I would love to see your guys's ideal client list with their struggles and your solutions. You can post screenshots in my group. It's the Rockstar Business Owners group. I'll post the link later after I'm done with this video. And I'd love to help kind of hash some of these key phrases or words or things that you could do to get creative to be able to speak to your audience. I hope this was helpful, and I'll catch you guys all later.